When it comes to conceal carry, there's a whole lot of options out there on how to conceal carry, holsters, all kinds of weird stuff. One of the cheapest ones out on the market right now is the Techna clip. So I thought I would get one. It's under 20 bucks. I'm going to put it on my XDS and share my experience with it and the pros and cons on what I think about it. The things that they claim or state about it is there's no modification required on your firearm. It's easy to conceal. It's lightweight, maximum comfort, eliminates bulk, and it's fast installation. The other thing too is they make tons of these for multiple different handguns. So many that I can't name them. But there is a thing, there are right-handed and left-handed ones, so you got to make sure that you pick the carry side that you want. I picked the right side one because I'm right-handed and conceal carry that way. So they're really easy to install. You're going to want to safety check your gun. You're going to remove this back side plate because the clip replaces it, just like that. And then you're going to want to make sure that you don't launch your firing pin or striker across the room. So you take that guy out of the way, and then you're going to take the one that they give you. It's got 2 screw holes in it. And then this is where it gets kind of tricky for me, is because this firing pin or striker just kills your hand. But you just slide it in place like that. Then you're going to take this steel clip and you're going to line her up like so. And it's tensioned, so the tricky thing is you want to like probably put the screw that is leaning closest to the back plate in first. So you want to do that first. The other thing too is don't tighten this one down too much because you got to be able to rotate the clip around so the second screw will line up. And they do give you a third screw as an extra, which is cool, but it also kind of shows me that they probably are familiar with that these screws come undone and shake free. I'm putting a fair amount of torque on these puppies, and there you go. It's already installed and ready to go. One thing that I did notice after installing the clip onto the back plate of the slide is that once you get these screws in, you can't actually take this off without removing the screws again. So there's no way to access that striker point to push in to drop down that back plate. So you have to undo these screws. So that may be an issue. You may not want to use Loctite in reality unless you want this to be like a really permanent fixture and run the risk of stripping the bolts or the screw heads and making it even more impossible to uninstall from your gun. It's a fairly stiff clip, but it's still got a little bit of give. It looks like it's roughly for a 2-inch belt, which is kind of not good because I have like a 2 3/4-inch belt. So we'll see how this puppy rides in the gun. Let me tell you what I like about this thing. I like the idea of it, I like the construction of it, and I like the simplicity of it. But is this something that I'm going to actually use? No, not really. The big thing about this that I don't like is that it's not a holster. I am a big proponent for holsters. I think they're the best way to conceal carry a gun, and they are the safest and most efficient. The biggest thing about this thing is that the trigger is exposed, and they cover that in the directions. They say that you're not supposed to carry around in the chamber because you could have an accidental discharge and cause yourself injury. So if you were to be carrying this, you wouldn't have one in the pipe. It is extremely hard to get a hold of and actually draw from inside the waistband. I have a really hard time trying to remove the gun. So even if I was taking cover in a defensive situation, I would still be fumbling to get this out of my waistband. Another thing that I really don't like about it is that it's not comfortable at all. They say that it's got maximum comfort, but this is riding against your body with all these serrations and grooves, and God knows what other guns have even more horrid things that can just rub you raw. So that definitely, it is not comfortable in any way to me at all. When you're using a holster, you got a lot of pressure displacement, so you don't have pressure points riding against your body, and that makes it a lot more comfortable. And it also makes it a lot easier to remove from your waistline by using it in the waistband holster. With the 2 belt loop system, it keeps it nice and stable. One of the problems with this thing is since it's only got 1 point of contact, the gun will actually twist and rotate in your waistline, and it could actually shift into a position that may be unfamiliar with you when maybe if you need to use your gun in an emergency. Another thing about this thing that kind of bums me out, but still a cool idea, is that since the gun isn't in a holster, it gets dirty easier. There's going to be a lot more lint and things that'll get around it. And the other thing too is if you live in a humid or hot climate, you're going to sweat and actually cause moisture to get inside your gun, which will actually cause rust, and also dirt and debris will actually want to stick inside the gun easier when you're concealed carrying. So that'll lead to more regular maintenance and also double checking your firearm before carrying it. In reality, the Techna clip's a cool idea, but I don't really care for it because I am a huge proponent for carrying one in the pipe. What's the use of a gun if it ain't loaded? The other thing too is that trigger. I want that trigger protected as much as possible, and with the trigger being open, it's just a problem that could lead to injury or danger to others. Another thing about the clip that I don't like is that it's exposed, and if you're like working or moving around or anything like that, you could actually get this hung up on things. You could end up scratching materials or products or cars or parts of your house with this by rubbing around, and that's another thing I don't like about it. Leather is definitely a lot more forgiving in that instance, and you don't have that problem, or nylon. But I just wanted to share this information on the Techna clip with you guys and kind of give you my overall perception of it and what I think about it. Is it something that I would suggest to someone? No, not at all. Is it interesting and a cool concept? Yeah, sure. But is it something I'm going to use for my self-defense purposes and concealed carry? Nope, not at all. I'm going to stick with my IWB holsters, especially leather ones, because that's what I prefer. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will catch you guys later. Take care, be safe. I appreciate you taking the time and watching my video. If you're interested, I have many others on my channel, and if you'd like to, hit that subscribe button to keep track on what's going on with High Desert Tactical. Also hit a like or a dislike and let me know how I'm doing, and I'm also available on Facebook, Twitter, and Google+.